Hi, welcome to Get Creative. Today I'm going to show you how to make notebooks that can be used for whatever you want. Making lists, little journal, diary, sketchbook, and they're great to give away as presents. What you need for your notebook is A4 paper. So this is printer paper, but it could be coloured paper. For your cover you need a card, so it could already be patterned, or it could be plain of any colour, and then you decorate it yourself. You also need a ruler because you're going to be cutting the paper in two. This is a metal one, but it can be any ruler. You need a knife, a sharp knife, so it can either be a craft one or a Stanley knife for cutting the paper. For folding it, you can use a bone folder, that's what this is, but you don't need it. It just helps get a nice crease in the fold. You need a pencil and you need a piece of scrap paper. For actually putting the notebook together, you need an awl or something sharp that's going to make holes in the paper that you're then going to thread through. You need your needle, so a needle would be sharp enough, but it needs to be a strong needle to make the holes. So a needle for sewing, then thread. So you can use anything really, just needs to be not too thick. So this is embroidery thread, and this is actually bookbinding thread as well, and then that's a piece of elastic, and I'll show you what you can do with that. And then you need to make it easier, clips of some kind will help, but again they're not absolutely essential. So you could use paper clips or this kind of box clip, and then you need scissors as well. Now optional, depending whether you want to decorate your booklet, you can have little motifs to stick onto it, or stickers. You can print out little phrases to stick on it, and then if you're doing that, then you also I use washi tape and a bit of glue, and then I've got a strip of card, and I'll show you how to use that as you kind of a gift wrapping. Now you can buy a bookbinding kit which would help you, and this is something like what you can get. You can get different sizes of them. So this comes with most of the things that you need. It's got the needles, it's got a little pair of scissors, it's got the bone folder, it's got the thread, it's got the awl, and it's got the ruler. So this kit will give you most things that you need. The only thing that you would need to get is maybe the pencil and the craft knife. What I forgot to say is you also need a surface to do your cutting on. So I've got a cutting mat, but a thick piece of cardboard would do just as well. Now, if you're going to decorate your own cover, you need to do that before you start. So here I've just used a black paint, but you could do anything, obviously. So you need to do that before you start. So you decorate your piece of card and then leave that to dry. And then once that is dry, then you can start the process. Right, we're going to make our notebook. So I've stacked together the card and the paper. Now we're going to cut it in half, so we'll be making two notebooks. So the great thing about a excuse me, a cutting mat is that it has a grid on, which helps you keep everything straight, but it's not essential. So we're going to take a pencil and the ruler, and we're going to measure 15 centimetres, which is about half of A4. So we do one near the bottom edge and one at the top edge. So I'm not going to actually draw a line, I'm just going to go straight to check that my paper's straight, although that can be corrected near the end. And then I'm going to go straight to cutting. So I've got my safety knife, and cutting, rather than trying to cut all the way through in one go, you're just going to be much more gentle and just don't put loads of pressure on. Hold your and just cut it over and over until you go all the way through. There we go. Okay, so we've got two sets that can make note looks, so I'm just going to show you how to make the one. So you want to be folding each of the sheets that you've cut. So you can, and then you need a good crease here. So you can do that with your fingernail. Or you can do that, so get your corner to corner, press it in the middle, flatten it, and then you can really crease it with your bone folder, but it's not essential. So then what you want to do is stack them all inside each other. So now we have them stacked, we're going to sew them together. So this is a great activity to do with kids. You could use scissors to cut them. You could cut them individually using a paper trimmer to make it safer to do with kids. And at this point, you could just use a piece of elastic to tie around the centre to hold them together. And now you've got a neat little booklet. This part is called the creep, and that can be just trimmed off, either with scissors or with the knife, and I'll show you how to do that later. But what I'm going to do now is show you how to sew them together. So now I'm going to show you how to put the holes in and how to sew the booklet. So you need a piece of scrap paper that's longer than your booklet, and then you put the edge against the top, and you're going to mark just by feel the bottom edge. So then we're going to measure this, which is about 15, because that's 15 centimetres. So we're going to get the centre of that, which is 7.5. Mark that on your scrap piece of paper, and then you can either measure out 4 centimetres from there, or you can measure in 3 centimetres from each edge. So I'm going to do 3 centimetres in from that side and 3 centimetres in from that side. So this is where you're going to make your holes to do your sewing. So then you're going to make your holes. So you've got to try and keep the book as kind of closed as possible. And to help keep everything in position, this is where you can use your clips. You can do it without them, but these will just help you keep everything in place. Okay, so using the awl or whatever you're using that's really sharp, got a decent point, whether that's your needle or an awl, you're just going to place it on the mark that you've made and push down, and it'll go through. And then you do that on each of your marks, and that should go through. By keeping it like this, fairly close, that'll go through your folds, and you can see it'll come out the other side. And you can push it through a little bit more if you want to make it easier for your needle to go through. Doesn't matter if you're slightly off, which I am there. Okay, then you need to take your scrap paper off, and that can be reused. It's already measured for your next one. Okay, so I've got a needle already threaded here. I'm going to take these clips off, make sure everything's nice and stacked. I'm going to start going through the middle. So you pull it through, but leave a tail, which you can hold with your thumb. And then you're going from the outside in, so you're going through the top. Sometimes they move a little bit, so you can just separate them out and do them one at a time. So there you go. Pull that through and tighten it. So to make sure it's tight, just pull them away from each other. And then you're going to miss the middle one and go right down to the bottom. And go through from front to back. Pull that out. Keep that tight, and then you're going to go back through the middle one. Now this with embroidery thread, you've got to try and be careful not to split the thread. So we're going from the outside in, and then what you want to do is have a thread on either side of the middle one. So I'm coming out on this side. And tug to tighten them, and then just tie a double knot. And put your thread. And there's your booklet securely together. Now what you've got is this, the pages peeking out the edge, so this is called the creep. So we want to just trim that off. So you square up your booklet, and this is again where the map comes in handy because of the grid. So I've lined it up against one line, and I'm going to use the grid to straighten it. Now it's easier if you cut a little bit of the card as well, rather than just trying to do the paper. It will give you that nice edge. And again, you're not trying to go through lots of pieces of card and paper in one go. So you're just doing lots of gentle cuts. And there's your booklet. You can decide what's the front or the back. Ready for use. Okay, so I've made up the second one, but you can see on this I've actually started from the outside with my thread, and if you leave the thread long enough, then you could also add beads as a bit of decoration. You can also see here that the cover is slightly shorter than the pages. So you would just use your knife again and just slice that off to trim it. So now what you can do is leave these plain as they are, they're great as they are, or you can decorate them. So you could use little motifs that you've got stuck all over, or what I like to do is put a little phrase on it. So this one says give thanks in all circumstances, and this is thankfulness is the quickest path to joy. So I've got a spot to go with the actual pattern. So it's just how I like to do them is a bit of glue on the back. On the right way. stick that down, but to give it some extra decorative, I put a piece of washi tape. So it's washi tape's just printed masking tape to hold it down and provide that extra little decoration. We'll do this one. I put them on at an angle because so that I don't have to measure it. Let's try a different tape. There we go. Fold that over. Okay, so we've got our 2 finished notebooks. So if you decide that you're going to give them away as a present, what you can do is, if you get a piece of card, a thin piece of card, you can just wrap it round and then a bit of glue to stick it down, or if you've got double-sided tape, you can use that. So there you have it, 2 notebooks, wrapped up, ready to give away as a gift if you want, and decorated how you want. We'd love to see what you produce. So if you'd like to share with us on social media using the following hashtags: